we're gonna go 2 assassinations um, within a country again, but it's Japan. And
Hmm.
people who are watching, I don't know, Harper, he lives in Japan.
Over
How
here.
many years now? 25 years?
Oh man, it's like each day is a year here.
Oh,
Um,
realistically, you've been there like 9 years now.
yeah, I
2014.
think yeah,
Damn.
2014. So it's I'm coming up on 10 years here.
Whoa.
2025 is 10th year.
So
So
I want to talk about 2 people that were assassinated in Japan, and of course, some hundreds that were assassinated throughout its history. But one that Harper, Chris, that
yeah.
could speak more about
Oh
would be
yeah.
the assassination of Shinzo Abe, and that
Yeah.
happened last year.
Yeah. I
Last
don't know
year,
the exact
yeah,
date, but it's probably I know it was this past year.
yeah.
Um, yeah, that was as I said, like in the beginning, like I remember asking my dad certain things about like the JFK, and he's like, I remember
Mm,
exactly where I was. I know
mm.
exactly where I was at. I was actually in a small town, if you will, called Shukugawa, which is over near Kobe, at work, and the office admin ran in, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, like he was shot." And of
Wow.
course, just like the news for 9/11, for me, it was like, ah, okay, I'm thinking he got shot. I didn't think it was like an assassination shot. And I was like, ah, okay, I hope he's okay. And they were like, yeah, me too. And then it wasn't until when I got home that night that I actually like saw the news and read in on it. And it it was a big thing here. It was weird
Yeah,
because there were like people in Japan who were like super in love with this guy.
yeah.
And every like he fun fact, Shinzo Abe. Do you know what Shinzo? It's not his name, but Shinzo, the other kanji of it means in Japanese.
I do not know.
It is the medical term for heart. And
Mm,
Shinzo Abe was kind of like the president of Japan, if you will. He's like the heart of Japan.
right, right, right.
Um, so when this happened, it was one of those weird things that everyone was like shocked because he was like the face of Japan. He was Mr. Good Guy. And then it was revealed that like like the guy who assassinated him had like ties to this weird thing. Like his mom was donating money to this church, which
Yeah,
is like
some
a
religious
weird,
church that
yeah, but it's like
Abe
not a,
supported.
yeah, it's like not a church. It's like kind of like a cult, or I honestly don't know much about it other than that. And it was like Shinzo Abe was part of that, and then like his whole like cabinet was like funneling money, and like the guy was just like, "You stole the money from my mom. I'm taking matters in my own hands."
Wait,
Went
that's
for
true.
uh
Supposedly.
yes,
Whoa.
allegedly, I guess I should say. Um because I know the guy was saying that it was like they were taking money from his mom, and I'm almost positive that's what it was from what I've read and what I've seen. I haven't
I
looked into it
I
at
heard
all
it
since it
was like
happened.
I heard the mom was donating to that organization.
Ah, yes, yeah,
Like, yeah,
yes,
like
she's like giving the money to them
right,
for
right,
this
right.
reason. And when that
But
happened,
then
everyone was like,
it was
"This
also
guy's."
like it was like his inheritance or something.
It was, yeah, it was like
Something
his
like that.
inheritance, but it was also like her life money. Like it was all the money that she
Yeah.
had saved up, and she just kept giving it. So when it happened, everyone was like, "No, this guy's crazy." And then when they looked into it, it was like, "Oh wait, no, he actually had ties to it. The cabinet had ties to it." And there was this weird thing where everybody almost overnight was like, "Oh, we love him," to like, "Oh no, like don't talk about that. Like that's a bad thing." And it was a really weird shift in like a 180 reverse on people's like opinions about him.
I don't know about that deeply. I mean, I have friends who have um I mean, there are friends, but I'm trying to talk to the audience. But they have opposite points of view about it. So
Yeah,
one friend
yeah,
is like, "Oh, Abe, it's kind of believes what the things you're saying." And the
yeah,
other person is like, "No, it's a conspiracy. Like he was a great person." And I will say, in Japan, his policies are very much polarized in Asia because people thought he was trying to, or I wouldn't even say trying. He is to grow the Japanese military, which is something that isn't technically allowed in their constitution,
yeah. They
but
just have defense.
they changed it, right,
Yeah,
or something. Yeah, they changed it with under him. So I get it. Like people are like yeah, he's a warmonger, but like he's going to be a potential warmonger. He's growing the military, and so yeah, like it's. So you were saying like, oh, he's the father of Japan, but it's like actually, I would say a lot of people didn't
And
like him.
that's what's
Yeah.
weird. It's like overnight. It's like most people I know were like, "Oh yeah, we really like him, but we don't like this part of him." But then, like the
Hmm.
second that happened overnight, it was like, "Oh, we really like what he did, but as a person, we don't really like." And it was like, "Whoa!" Like
Right, right,
so.
right.
But yeah, that's one that happened to me that I can literally tell you like where I was, who I was
Mm.
talking to, without saying any of the names
Yeah,
here.
I
But it
would
was
say for me it was kind of a shock because it's
yeah,
like I was in Asia from
like 12, 2011.
2012 to 2020 basically.
Yeah,
And Abe was like the guy the entire time, right?
he
Pretty
was
much. Like
Japan type. Yeah.
so like he was the guy out around the world the entire time, and he represented Japanese the country. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. But the other person, yeah, connecting with that, the other I mentioned with Japanese assassinations, also kind of a political thing. And again, kind of interestingly enough, the polarizing part
Mhm.
is it's a guy, I'd look up the name exactly. His name is the person that got assassinated was Jiro Uma. And I might put the image up. Basically, he's a very famous socialist in Japan, and he was, I mean, socialist, but he's not a communist. But he like went to China even and like supported what China was doing, and he's considered he's like supporter of communism and whatever. And he was assassinated by a person that basically was against these, I guess you would say, socialists. Like he was against it, and this young basically assassinates him with a samurai sword on live
Oh
TV. Yeah,
yes.
it's a very
Oh man.
freaky video, and the image I believe won the Pulitzer Prize. But basically, the dude stabs him with a sword from the side, and you see the moment of impact, and the guy's
Yeah.
like, it's his face is like, and then he basically dies upon like being stabbed, and it's just
Yeah.
like it's so brutal. And then,
That was like the
but yeah,
60s, wasn't it?
something
50s or
like that.
60s? Yeah.
And
The photo's
basically,
black and white.
yes, and I'm just
Yeah.
mentioning this because it's showing the polarization, where
Mhm.
I'm sure a lot of people in Japan who were like getting out of World War II, they were probably still clinging to that, like, you know, not clinging, but they were probably thinking like, okay, China and North Korea, they're becoming socialist, communist, whatever, and we're kind of thinking like our government should be like that too, just like Germany was a socialist, right? But the flip side is, so the person who assassinated that socialist, I don't have his name. I have to look it up right here. His name was Otoya Yamaguchi, and he was 17 at the time. And
Whoa.
ironically, yeah, he's a student. Ironically, this student, he's revered now by Japanese like far right ultra nationalists because they consider him like a grand figure for preserving Japan and like protecting Japan from,
Oh, yeah.
outside like Asanuma. So
I
um yeah, it's pretty crazy. So
was gonna say, I think I may have mentioned it in one of the videos, like, when you're walking down the streets, every once in a while, you'll see, like, the imperial flag being flown, and then it's like a semi
mm,
truck-ish with, like, it's like fluorescent club lights, and they're, like, broadcasting stuff, and obviously, as a foreigner at the time, I had no idea what was going on, and I was like, "Oh,
those
whoa,
are
it's like a
always
club." Yeah, and
those are
it's
always the
people
nationalists. Wow.
as I was gonna say, it's if you see the imperial flag on it, it's like they're basically saying like keep Japan, Japan, get rid of foreigners. And I'm like, cool, and like take a picture as they drive by.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
um,
I've actually never seen it with the imperialist flag.
oh no,
I've
it's
only heard the trucks.
you'll hear the trucks and you'll see them,
Mm,
and it sticks out like a sore thumb, not just because of the broadcast, but it's like you'll see like the little light stuck on the side where it's like
mm.
it looks like going back to Disney, it's like that scene from Cars where it's like the lowriders come up and it's like the glow effects on the cars.
Haven't seen
It's just
cars.
like Oh, you're not missing out. But
Yeah.
it's just like fluorescent lights on it, and it's like broadcasting like propaganda music and stuff. And it's
Interesting.
yeah. I mean, they're not going to do anything because it's broad daylight, hopefully. But yeah, I'm always like, neat.
Right.
Snap a picture.
Some mouse
Oh,
samurai swords.
oh yeah.
Yeah. So that's the versus with the Japanese people.